So, Kevin, I went to this art expo in Mount Pleasant. It
Cool.
was around where we went to the Comic Con,
Yeah, yeah.
and Parker invited me, and she sent me the link for it. I didn't look at it at all. I just looked at, I guess I really didn't look at it because I thought it cost money, but it was free. So I really just like listed. I was like, cool, and I was like, Chloe, let's go to it. Chloe actually looked at it, and we showed up. And right as we showed up, James was leaving, and James was like, yeah, Parker had a thing, so we have to go. I was like, oh well, bye, and he left. And the voice actor for Kaido was there, and I was like, "That's really, really cool." And he was signing Funko Pops. He
How
had
many
a
did you got?
gear. No, I didn't get it. I was going to.
Oh.
He had a Gear 5 Luffy, and the Funko Pop was $30, and with his signature, it would have been $90. And they had a drawing of like Dragon Kaido on the side of the box, and I
Yeah.
was like, "That's really, really cool." And I almost caved, and then Chloe's like, "You're not purchasing this," so I was like, "Oh, rats!" And we had to leave because I was really, 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 really almost going to purchase it. And we bailed. He did his Kaido laugh, and it was really, really cool. I was like, "Wow, you are the guy." And he was also Gorilla Grodd in the Flash, and I was like, "I
Like
didn't know that."
the Flash live action show or
Live
like
action, yeah,
crazy?
yeah. And I was like, "That's really cool," but he was there, so we left, and I was on the phone with Dorian, so I didn't tell Chloe I was going to GameStop, but I went to GameStop so I could be sad. And when I walked in, the first thing I saw was Captain Kidd. So I finally have Captain Kidd, but I also have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yes.
He's beautiful.
Why? Okay, so why did you get Rudolph? Explain to me.
It's his 60th anniversary. Um, there are other like anime ones. There are some Pokemon ones. I
Mhm.
almost got. They had a bunch of Dragon Ball Broly Funko
Okay.
Pops, and I almost bought Broly because Broly looked really, really cool. But I've literally never seen Rudolph, and so I grabbed Rudolph. He was $6.
I was gonna say, how much did Rudolph cost?
It was buy one get one half off. So
Yeah.
Eustace was 13 and Rudolph was 3. Yes. But
That
yeah,
feels a little disrespectful to Rudolph.
it's very for his 60th. Yeah.
Uh,
But that was a lot of fun. That was really nice. So I finally got my immediate reward for turning down Gear 5 Luffy. But I've been looking for a Eustace Kid for
a long time.
months, literally months.
A
But
long
yeah,
time.
that was my little misadventure. Kevin, have you read anything this week?
Yes, I read a couple things. Well, Absolute Superman 5 that came out on DC Universe.
How was it?
Good. I still feel like I don't know anything about Clark. Like he's pulling a Batman and being broody, but I really like the whole Krypton backstory. Don't know if you've read it.
I read the first issue
Okay.
yesterday. I'm gonna keep reading, but you can talk about it.
I'm going to spoil it. So the whole time we're flashing back and forth between present day and Clark on Krypton. It's probably like 6 or 7. So like he actually has memories of Krypton. His parents are like super geniuses and figure out the world's blowing up. And all the rich science people already knew that, have been secretly building ships to get off the planet and yada, yada, yada. So Superman's mother makes a ship to take as much of the poor farmers as they can. And she actually invents what is now his suit, Soul, which is
Yeah.
a cool concept. As they're all taking off, the planet starts to blow up and it massacres everyone. Well, first, the big ship that his mother built blows up, but don't worry, she's smart because it's like the like kind of Iron Man nanotech. Each person gets their own personal ship, and then Clark watches them all get hit by a meteor, like one by one. In
Ooh.
and then it's just a cloud of smoke, and he's like trying to reach his like parents, and there's just silence as he turns and looks back, and Krypton is a cloud of dust.
Oof.
Yeah, oof. I was like, wow. I was like they kind of went for the heartstrings there. Meanwhile, on Earth, Clark is having a grade A crash out because the evil Lazarus Corporation and their peacemaker soldiers, one of them had a mental breakdown due to the AI Brainiac telling him he was good to go back to work. So he slaughtered a whole village. Superman
Wow.
had a crash out, and unclear if he's killed people. I think it's implying he hasn't yet, but he's coming very close. But I mean, just tearing through people left and right, like ripping through tanks, like grade A crash out. And that's where it leaves off with him like getting ready to murk this dude who is having a mental breakdown.
Whenever I read the first 2 issues previously, I got to the point. it may have been 2 or 3. I don't remember where it was, but I got to the point where he had to like get into a container to like recharge, basically. And I was like, that's different.
Yeah, I don't fully understand it all yet, but it was cool. I still think out of the three, it's my least favorite so far, just because I feel like we know the least. Not saying it's bad, just this one's the slowest of them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I read the first issue. I do like the concept of the difference between the upper class, and the lower class, and they're workers of the sun, and that's their crest is the sun and whatever. I was like, that's cool, and I like that both his parents were on track to becoming like high society individuals, but they had one like outspoken thing, and they're like, oh, farmers, poor folk, and I was like, oh well.
You haven't gotten there yet, but little Clark breaks into the science division headquarters and posts his parents' findings on the internet, basically causing a global panic, but also letting some people think they could escape just to get blown up. He tried
Well, what can you
to watch them all die
do?
over and over on loop in your head, apparently.
Oh, he has horrible dreams and flashbacks, I assume.
I don't know if it explicitly says that, but it's implied. At least I feel like it is.
Clearly, at least tormented.
Yeah, and I think it's part of why he's so stoic and quiet. Like that's Batman level trauma.
It is Batman. Oh, we had. Oh, now they're all traumatized.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman's still pretty not traumatized.
which is crazy because she cut off her arm for a dude she met like 2 weeks earlier.
And she was like, it's cool. I've got a magic one.
Yeah,
What else you read?
a couple more issues of Fear State.
How is Fear State?
So it's Fear State Alpha, and then I've read one and two, I believe. So far, I'm really liking the concept. The whole concept, it stems back to a paper dissertation, I don't know, by Crane when he was still in college, that people who can live through a state fueled by fear are like the ultimate social Darwinist experiment. They will evolve and become better. And he thinks of Batman as one of these. So he starts it off by like dosing him with an insane amount of fear toxin, believing that since he's already achieved the fear state evolution, he'll get through it, he'll be fine. And he ends up being right. But to do so, he has created a scapegoat, which is the Unsanity Collective. The next issue is Miracle Molly's Secret Files. Haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
The cool little character. It has to take place right after repeated and continual high fear events, with one kind of being a tipping point, Joker War in this case. And then the whole time there's a secret real threat that's bubbling under the surface, also taking control of the media and communication. Somehow hacked Oracle. Still unclear, but Oracle is just on loop telling Gotham, Batman's dead, all the Bat people have fallen, you run, fear, cry, piss your pants, do whatever. The end is near.
Is it working?
It's better than you would think. Not fully, but a lot of people are buying into it. And he's also secretly cultivated the real threat, which is the Magistrate '01, the Arkham,
Yeah.
who he dosed with insane levels of fear toxin 2, is currently running around as a super soldier, basically.
Super lunatic.
Yeah, so that was issue 1, and then issue 2, Batman and Ghostmaker. Batman's like, Ghostmaker, buddy old pal. I basically created a mini mind control VR headset. You and I are gonna go into my brain and make sure Scarecrow didn't leave some hypnotic trigger or something. And he's like, well, why me? And he's like, because this might short circuit your emotional center. And he's like, oh, I'm a psychopath. I don't have that. And he's like, exactly. Get in here.
Let's go.
So they're going through. Turns out Scarecrow embedded a memory of himself in Batman's mind to act as his like fear trigger. And it's him explaining to Ghostmaker what the fear state is, because Ghostmaker found him back when they were younger, and he's like, this is a really cool concept. I can use this to be better. And he's like, he was even crazy for me. He freaked me out. And then can't remember exactly. I think they mostly beat it.
Got it.
And yeah, no, they did beat it, because Batman's like, guys, Magistrate 1 has one of these in his head too. We need to get that out too. And that's where it left off.
You read Absolute Superman and Batman?
Yep.
I also had I only read one thing this week, and it was yesterday when Kagurabachi came out.
I've told you this too, but I'm watching the Tomorrowverse for the first time, which is
Yeah.
the reboot DCAU. I think there's 13 things in it. I'm skipping the shorts for like,
Is Long Haul being a part of that? The part
yes,
one and two? Okay, yeah.
that's next on my list. So it starts with Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Justice Society, World War II, Long Halloween
Mhm.
Part 1 and 2. There's a Green Lantern, and then the
Is
three
that the John
of
Stewart one?
yeah, and then the three parts of Crisis are in it too. And I feel like I'm missing one though. But either
They
way,
don't come back.
I've got through the first two movies. I'm really liking it. I think
What was the
I'm gonna do a separate video on that stuff.
what were the movies? Those two?
Superman, Man of Tomorrow, which is where it got the name Tomorrowverse, and Justice Society World War II, which is a
That's the Flash one
yeah,
where
it's
he's
an
got girls.
interesting take on kind of the Flashpoint story that you know. I'm gonna give a little spoiler here that I'll get into, but Flash is in Metropolis. Him and Superman are fighting Brainiac, and he actually runs too fast, and it's
Ah,
heavily implied that he runs back through time. And I'm like, and as I'm watching it, I'm sitting here like thinking because it's the Justice Society led by Wonder Woman, and like Flash hasn't heard of them. He's like, no one has heard of you, and I'm like, dang, are they really gonna introduce Wonder Woman and like kill her off Rogue One style, or just have her like go somewhere else and then she'll come back? I'm like, yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. The more you're there, the more you slowly realize this is Earth too. This isn't Flash's Earth. And
so
then
what's the time travel?
no, he ran into the wrong universe. And
Flash
like
problems.
you can see the like seeds of crisis being set up now. And I'm like, they knew exactly what they were doing. A plan works. But it was an interesting take because it was inspired by Flashpoint. Aquaman is mind controlled and becomes a Nazi.
Nazi Aquaman.
Yeah, in my notes for it, I do have a line that just says Heil Aquaman. And I was like, huh, okay. But yeah, interesting. Batman Long Halloween's next. That's a two-parter. Really interested to hear Jensen Ackles as Batman. I've been told he's really good.
I've heard his name thrown around for the DCU Batman, but I've also heard a lot of names thrown around for the DCU Batman. So I've been reading Kagurabachi. There's a new chapter. I touched on it last week. The Enchanted Blades concept. There are
Oh, yeah,
12
yeah.
individuals that hold enchanted blades. They have a magical property, each one of them, and they're tied to some sort of animal. I don't think all of them, but our main character, Chihiro, he has these goldfish that every time he wields his sword, like these goldfish show up, and like one of them like scouts. One goldfish is, like scouts the area, and the other one they each have like different abilities. But he inherited that blade from his dead dad, and he isn't as skilled with it as the other characters. Yes,
What's up?
and all sorts of crazy stuff's happening. But currently, one of these, we found out that the sword bearers, all 12 of them, have some sort of like death contract. And the 12th sword bearer, is being kept separated from his blade. And you have to make a contract with your weapon. And once, like, the weapon is not animate, but they're like for the weapon to work, like for the magic to work, you have to make a contract with it. And it can do whatever. Each of them do something specific. And the 12th sword bearer was the best friend of Chihiro's dad. And somewhere through this war that happened, something that happened during war, this guy snapped, and he was the one that really slaughtered all the people on the
Oh,
island,
classic.
and they locked him up somewhere. And then the media was like, "Yeah, the 12 sword bearers saved the world, blah blah blah." Peak cinema, and this guy's been this guy's been trapped underground for X amount of time, and they were like, "We need to kill this guy," but if they killed him, all the other sword bearers die, and it's weird. Only sword bearers can kill other sword bearers without it like killing all of them. And so Chihiro's been backed into a sort of point where he's trying to reclaim all these weapons,
Uh-huh.
but to do so, he has to kill the sword bearers. It's like a weird spot for him because he's our hero. But one of the sword bearers fought Chihiro, and he killed him. He killed Chihiro,
Oh,
and
okay.
Chihiro was dead for a couple minutes and came back. And once he died, his contract with the sword was broken, and that was the guy's mercy upon Chihiro because he was like, "I was friends with your dad. You shouldn't be a part of this. This is our generation's problem." And he's gonna go around and kill all the other sword bearers. And
Do they
Chihiro's
get to
like,
come back?
"Huh?
Do they get to
No.
come back?
They do not get to come back." Chihiro, like, it was a very specific thing. The guy knew what he was doing, and he attacked him in a way that he was able to be resuscitated from.
Mm.
But that was his warning. and he was like, "Stay off."
He took
And
his heart medicine.
he took his heart medicine. It was grape flavored or bacon flavored. Depends on your. It's grape flavored. But Chihiro joins a group. They're trying to protect this girl who is the daughter of Samura, the guy that beat him up. He's the blind swordsman. The bad guys are trying to kidnap the daughter to leverage her against
Hmm.
Samura. But crucial information that the bad guys don't have, the good guys used magic to make her and Samura forget that they were connected in any way. And so she doesn't even know. She knows she has a father that was an important figure, but
Hmm.
that's as blurry, that's as clear as it gets. And Samira knows that he has a daughter, but that's as clear as that gets. And so the bad guys show up to beat her up, and she's like, "I don't know what you guys are talking about." And then Chihiro and the good guys show up, and they're like, "We need to double down on this spell. We need to like seal your memories away even harder to make sure like all memories are erased from you." And Chihiro makes a bond with this girl, and he's like, "You are getting the chance to have the life I didn't get to have because Chihiro took up vengeance." It was really funny. The first like 40-ish chapters of Kagurabachi, Chihiro was like really edgy, and he's like, "Vengeance." That was literally him. He was vengeance. And once Samira clapped him,
They
he
put
came
some
back. He's
dirt
like,
in your eye.
yes. But once he got clapped, he came back and he was like, maybe I don't have the right to have vengeance against these people. Like, these guys are not only are they much more powerful than me, like, they have real. Someone killed his dad. There's one specific person that Chihiro has his eyes on to take out. But the rest of them are like war criminals. Like, they have
Oh,
real baggage. And he was like, maybe I have this backwards. But he basically talks with the girl and he's like, you have the right to either live your life as a normal person or meet like actually meet your dad, go after your dad, stuff like that. And she basically breaks the seal upon herself. She breaks her seal and gets all her memories back. And she's also like an awesome swordsman because she was the daughter of an awesome swordsman. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
and then
But
she fell down these stairs.
the entire caveat, this entire time, Samura is such a powerful sorcerer that he's basically had these owl eyes over the sky of all of Tokyo, and as soon as somebody opens an enchanted blade, he will sense it and show up. That's how heightened his senses are, because he's blind, and so everybody's been fighting nerfed because they're so afraid of him. Like Chihiro, he has to fight with a normal blade, and we find out Chihiro is not a very good swordsman. He's been like crutching on his magic abilities, and I was like, oh, the bad guys. Also, most of them are like villains in training, basically.
Mm.
Like they were like pulled off the streets, and they're also not fantastic swordsmen, but they do what they can. And Chihiro gets to the point with this girl where he's like, "You deserve to meet your dad. Do you want to meet him?" And she was like, "Yeah." And so he pulls out his enchanted blade, and the villain's like, "I guess we're fighting now." And so he pulls out his enchanted blade, and then Samura shows up, and then he cuts the head off of the bad guy. And I was like, "Wait a second!" And it's just been crazy. I think you'd really like Kagurabachi. I really like the art style. I really like the paneling. I like the power system is kind of weird, but it's also like there is magic, but it focuses on the swordsman stuff. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and the characters are cool. They have really cool concepts. I've been enjoying it a lot. And while that's the only thing I read, I watched an episode more of Daredevil. I was talking to you about it the other day. Where we were talking about how I wish She-Hulk was just a skosh bit goofy because there are parts of She-Hulk where I'm like, yeah, this. I was like, I like the idea of
The
like what they're trying to
concept
do,
was good.
but you said it best. Like they went too goofy. Like it was a joke.
She-Hulk was always meant to break the fourth wall, be kind of meta, but the plot of that show ended up being, "Ha, get it? We're meta."
Yeah,
It's
that
like
that
if
definitely hurt it.
it's like if Daredevil or not Daredevil, geez, if Deadpool only made Wolverine jokes. Like, yeah, it's funny the first three times, maybe even the fourth, and then it's, oh, you don't do anything else, do you?
And then it keeps going.
You can't do anything original, can you?
I really enjoyed the entire like court scene, like all the stuff of him with the white tiger, him revealing that he was the white tiger, and afterwards just the one on one where he's like, "Man, you could have at least asked me first."
I
And I
know,
said, "Yeah." I was like, "That's a great point."
I know.
And I was upset how immediately once White Tiger was freed, and in his defense, he did say earlier in the episode where like I don't choose to do this, I go out and do it because it's the right thing. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, I understand. But he immediately got on the streets and then was immediately shot and killed. And you said, which I'm really sad about, you said that the actual actor passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
I don't know if he was originally planned on being in the show like an episode or two longer, and they had to pivot. One thing that I've heard and seen, don't know if this is true, didn't go back and look for myself, is that in that scene where he's killed, he's not wearing his amulet,
Oh,
which would also make sense as to why he goes straight back out there and instantly gets murked. Because
the
suddenly he's lost all his juice.
girl stole it.
It said he gave it to his niece, which traditionally she's maybe not traditionally, she's modern White Tiger.
I know she's White Tiger in that Ultimate Spider-Man
Yes.
cartoon.
That's what I was going to say. She's Ultimate Spider-Man White Tiger. That's currently the most popular version.
I wonder if that was a planned thing. Like, did
Yes.
they like
She
him
was
going out?
he was always going to kind of give it up, I guess, because the plan from my understanding, she's gonna be White Tiger in the Young Avengers with Kate Bishop, Wiccan,
It's
Speed,
Marvel.
Miss Marvel. But that
Another
was the plan. Just how they got there was murky and had to pivot, is my understanding.
Another thing was the Muse. I'm really excited to get to actually see the Muse because all I've seen of him was Matt Murdock stuff, and then hard cut some guy carrying a body in the subway station, looks at camera, continues carrying a body in the subway station. I was like, what? And then at the very end of the episode, he walks to a room and there are all these bodies. I was like, what? I was like, who is
What?
this guy?
Who are you people? I'm telling you,
I can see the
episode
future.
8 changes what you think this show is going to be.
I'm excited. I'm getting back into it. I have one last major thing to say. I love Spider-Man so much. I can like just at arm's reach. I have a Spider-Man bobblehead right there. I have a Spider-Man thing here. I have another Spider-Man thing here. Like I love Spider-Man. There is. I hate. Like it makes sense for the show. I hate so much that Daredevil is in such a place that he had to go to the Punisher for a pep talk. Like in a perfect world, in a perfect Marvel universe, and not even a perfect Marvel universe, in a universe where Spider-Man is allowed to just be around, that definitely would have been a powwow with Spider-Man because it would have worked because no one knows who Spider-Man is anymore. So it could have still been just a powwow of, hey, you should still try and do the right thing. Like it's hard, I understand. You lose people, I understand. You should still do the right. Why? Where is Spider-Man? I know that Spider-Man's not here because of Sony. I know he's only allowed to be in certain things, but that is not enough for me. Like it is. I think it is outwardly harming Daredevil, and which is cool, which is fine because he has his edgy moments. Daredevil can get edgy, which is fine. But there is a pillar of light in the Marvel universe, and when Cap isn't around, it's Spider-Man, and Cap is not around. And it should be Spider-Man. It's been angering me. I've been thinking about it, and it makes me more angry the more I think about it.
Punisher nailed it though.
Punisher was incredible.
Say his
Like,
name.
ooh.
Say his name.
Yeah.
I was like, ah. I was like, oh.
I'm not having fun anymore.
I was like, oh wow, he said what you wanted to hear and what you needed to hear at the same time, Matt, and yet you still hated every second of it.
And also, like that scene kind of comes out of nowhere. Like he just starts, like Matt starts walking, then he makes a turn, and then he's like in this parking lot. I was like, what? And then he makes another turn. But yeah, and then he finds the Punisher, who's I really appreciate the Punisher just like holed up somewhere. And
Also, Matt just knows where he is at any given point.
he has tabs on him at every point of the day. But yeah,
Makes you wonder what he really needs Cherry for.
I've been enjoying Daredevil. I'm gonna keep watching Daredevil. Once I finish Daredevil, I'm probably gonna finish Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man because I got a couple episodes into it and I just haven't gone back to it. You said that it's from good to maybe very good. I have been playing games more recently because we had some. Chloe said I can get new games when I beat some of my games. And I haven't beaten a lot of my games. So recently I've beaten Breath of the Wild, but I've had that for like 2-3 years. Like it's been in the works.
2-3 years.
I beat Link's Awakening. I have a Mega Man Legacy collection, which has 6 games. I beat 5 of the 6 games. I don't really like the last one. It gave me an ability that I thought I was going to like, but I don't like it as much as I would. Like once I defeat a character, I can then transform it into them and have their abilities. And I do get their exact moveset. But in the other games, I get like derivations that benefit my character of their movesets, and I definitely preferred that. I think those are the main things. But I was grinding through those Mega Man games, though. I've beaten a lot of games, and I've been interested in getting. I'm making my way back to Spider-Man for the PS5, but I need to get back to games proper because I put like 4 or 5 hours into Spider-Man, and I realized how bad I am with the controls of that game. And I was like, I need to get back into the groove of games in general. I put that on the bench because I needed to get back into games. So I've been playing my Switch games. I'm interested in getting some new Switch games. I'm really into like 2D platforming. That's been a big thing for me, like Cuphead style.
Not my
It
thing.
doesn't have to be as hard as Cuphead. Like
Any of them. I hate platformers.
I really enjoy. I don't like first person, third person shooters.
I
I hate
hate
having to move
shooters.
my camera. That makes me upset. But I've been in the Nintendo sphere recently, and I saw that the Switch 2 was coming out. I was like, wow. I was like, that's exciting. So I watched the direct for it. I'd seen a lot of people whining about the direct, and I was like, I guess I should go watch it. So I watched it. The console is releasing for $450, and I was like, oh woof. And people are like, "Don't worry, that's because of the tariffs." No, the guy came out and said, we haven't even like factored in the tariffs." I was like, "Oh," and all these things that they're adding to it, like the camera thing, the camera function is cool. I guess I don't care about
We already
that.
had that.
uh, yeah, and like there's a microphone. I was like, okay.
We already had that.
The Wii Sports for this console cost money, and I was like, that kind of sucks
I
because
saw
Wii
that.
Sports wasn't. Wii Sports was free. I was like, okay, they're porting a bunch of Switch One games to Switch Two, but you have to pay like full price for them. And I was like, that's kind of bad. The game Mario Kart World is $90. It's supposed to be $90, and I was like, I said, what's going on? I have no affinity to Grand Theft Auto, but I know people have spoken about Grand Theft Auto 6 might have been like $100 game because of how much hype has been behind it. But it's crazy that Nintendo came out with an $80 game first, and I was like,
We'll see your $100 game will raise you.
oh.
An $80 game with very little hype.
They're really just getting ready for Grand Theft Auto 6's layup. They're just setting them up for the alley oop.
Yeah.
But yeah, after seeing all of that, I realized there were a bunch of games on the Switch One that I never played, so I've been trying to find them.
I was thinking about buying a Switch 2 when it came out. Then I read all this and I went, you know what? Maybe when the Switch 2 comes out, I can get the first one for really cheap and catch up on some Pokemon games.
Well, yeah, I made a little list of games I'm looking into. I really want to play Hollow Knight, 2D platformer. There's a Metroid game that's a 2D platformer. Have you ever played a Fire Emblem game, or do you know Fire Emblem?
I know, I remember in high school, you played one and I watched you play one for a little while.
I like the strategy grid based idea of
I
a
don't hate those.
of like in you have a little army, you're a little platoon, and you're sending them out to be the bad guys. I
We are
like
the
that a lot.
opposite types of like gamers, Shad. I
That's fun.
am very hack and slash button mash guy, like Arkham games, single player puzzle games.
I like single player puzzle games.
Yeah.
I'm interested in getting Sonic Mania, which is like a retro Sonic game.
Okay.
Have you heard the game Hades? That's a hack and slash.
I think so.
You should Google it. It's really stylized. I can't remember the character's name, but he is a Greek character, and he's trying to
Oedipus, not Oedipus Lord.
not Oedipus.
Orpheus.
Found it. I brought it to you.
Chloe brought it to me.
Is it Orpheus?
I can't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. But there is a figure who's trying to get out of the underworld, and Hades is like he's huge, but he's just sitting at a desk, and he's like, if you can get out, and
Yes.
you just grind your way through the thing, and like every accomplishment, you get like the gods bless you with like more weapons and etc. It's really cool concept. I really like the art style, but it is a hack and slash. I think I want to get Animal Crossing. I had Animal Crossing at one point in time, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, I've just been, if anybody who's listening has any like 2D platformer game suggestions, I'd love that for Switch or PS5. There's this game that's coming out in 2026 that is heavily not the category I just said. It's heavily Kingdom Hearts inspired, but it's called Dusk Fade, and it's I'd never heard of it up until a couple of days ago, but it looks really cool. As I said, looks similar to Kingdom Hearts. He's got a big sword, and I'm a big fan of that.
Nice.
But yeah, I've been a lot into games. I'd say, I guess if anyone wants to buy a Switch 2, don't, and wait till they decrease the price. because that would be a win for everybody. I don't want to pay $450. I'm not going to pay $450 for a device. Maybe if it had Gearfist Luffy Funko Pop with Kaido drawn on it and the signature for Kaido, then I'd pay for it.
Let it go, Shad.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. Wait. I can show you why it's okay.
Because you have Eustace Kid. I'll do a little dance while we're waiting.
You don't have to subject him to that. So we have Law. I've had Law for a while though.
Yeah,
but he's using his power.
Surgery.
And I have Kid using his power.
Yeah, mid.
He's the cool. Oh wow!
It's crazy because I like barely know Kid right now.
The community refers to him as useless Captain Mid. So,
ouch! I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I know how to choose them. But that's the day in the week of my nerd life.
Yeah.
That's what I've been up to. I'm trying to think if I watched Hairspray. I'd never watched that. They put John Travolta was the main character's mom, and they gave her too much junk in her trunk, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's that's all. I think those are all my updates.
Same.
I'm upset that I didn't read more because I saw that Green Lantern Corps, the second issue was out. I started Absolute Superman. They're doing like the summer of Superman because the Superman movie is coming out. So there have been some new Superman things I just thought I'd look at. But yeah, I haven't read it, and I don't think I'm going to read it, but I see it every time I open the DC app. The like Harley Quinn fartacular thing.
Nope.
Have you seen that?
Yes, but nope.
Yeah.
Not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Because I'm like swiping. I was like, oh.
Some people are probably way too into that.
Probably. But yeah,
that's where we should leave it.
That's enough of that. Thank you for joining me, Kevin. I think people, if they like it, they should like it. Like this. And if they like this, they should comment. Comment. You guys can give us recommendations for comics to read or just comics you guys like. Game recommendations, I'm always down for.
Except for the Harley fartacular.
Unless that gets us views.
Uh-oh.
We could read it live and everything. That'd be hilarious. Maybe. I hope. But yeah, thank you for joining, Kevin. And we'll do this again.
Till the next time.